What is going on, everybody? We're here. We're live. And no, this is not the FML podcast a little bit early. It's Geeks and Gamers Daily. But honestly, I'm feeling like fuck my life because I got people out here mowing my lawn. It's loud as shit right in my fucking ear. And for
You
some
have people
reason,
mowing your lawn, and I've got 18 snow plows in my ear, so it's very loud for both
can
of
you
us,
hear
I
that at
guess.
all?
No.
Okay, good. It's so loud I can barely fucking hear it. I'm not even lying. Because for some reason, every single Monday at exactly 10:55 a.m., they start mowing right around my house. I don't know why. They must know that I'm working, but there's no Jay today. There's no
It's
Jay
true.
today. I think he's stuck in a blizzard too. He's probably going to bail on me the rest of the week. He probably can't get back or some shit. He went up to New York and a blizzard came in because, of course.
Yeah, bad timing. That's for sure.
Bad timing. But Vera Dark, how are you doing today?
Good. A little sad that Night of the Seven Kingdoms is over because it was very good, but, I'm happy that it happened and that it was a good adaptation. So I'm happy, but also a little sad.
Yeah, it's a little bit bittersweet. And honestly, the
Yeah.
show is bittersweet in a lot of ways.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's what makes it so good.
That's right. And we will be talking a little Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Look, it just came out 12 hours ago, so we're not going to get into full spoilers for this specific episode necessarily, but we are going to talk about it a little bit because it's done. 6 episodes, a little over 30-minute episodes, a nice little story in the Game of Thrones universe, and it has a lot of people talking. Overall, I think their reception has been very positive.
Yes.
Which, yeah, I'm glad that people like it because The Hedge Knight is a great story. It's a lot of people's favorite story in the entire universe.
And hey, it's been 16 years since the last Dunk and Egg novella. Can't wait to wait for another 16.
God, yes.
Too long.
That's just the way it is when it comes to George R.R. Martin. 7 episodes according to Nerdrotic. Yes. Gary titled our react. So for people that don't know, on Gary's channel over on Nerdrotic, after every episode for the past 6 weeks, we've been doing a reaction, like a reaction right after the show and review. And for some reason, he decided to title it Episode 7 Review, even though there is no Episode 7. So had a lot of Stranger Things, Conformity Gate, blah, 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 maybe a secret episode. I don't think that's going to happen somehow.
Yeah, no. But I'd be up for it.
I mean, we have to wait another year until we get another 6 episodes of this show.
At least it's only a year, though. At least it's not like 2.5, 3 years until we get it. So that's good. I mean, the release schedules for a lot of major shows now are so drawn out and it takes so long. But then again, games take a decade to develop and then they come out and they're Dragon Age the Veilguard. So fuck
That's
my
true.
life.
House of the Dragon coming out this summer.
I have no excitement for House of the Dragon. I think for me, I wasn't the biggest fan of season 2. I mean, I'm going to watch it and I hope that they do a good job, but there's a lot of characters, a lot of storylines that have to have conclusions, a lot of characters that need to be killed. So a lot has to happen.
A lot of characters that need to be killed.
Yeah.
We'll see. I don't know if I'm excited. I'm interested. I will be watching. Me and Gary will be doing our fucking reviews again. So we'll see how that works. But
only a few more months.
Only a few more months. And at some point, somehow, some way, I'm going to be making my way over to the UK with Gary to go watch the play.
I don't know. I mean, they might get me to travel. They might actually get me out of being a basement dweller and out into the real world for that, because that sounds really cool. I hope it's actually good, though.
I hope it's good.
George R.R. Martin, the fucking American who won't actually have his shows and his plays release in America. So stupid.
I would imagine that after it's run at the Royal Shakespeare Theatre, it will probably expand
if it does good, yeah, to
other places in the UK and then eventually to Broadway and everything. That would be my guess. It's kind of like a lot of things we see, honestly.
Yeah. Like Harry Potter, for example.
Yes, exactly. So we'll see. People are said, Ryan, you're gonna die in London. Ryan, don't go to London. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, it's tough.
I think I'll live.
Maybe.
I think I'll live. Alex Arrow Cave for 2. Jay alive yet? Meta PC. RK Outpost. Drunk 3PO. I haven't heard.
As far as we know, he's alive, but
I haven't heard from him in a couple days. He very well could be dead still. So I don't know. I don't have an answer for you, Alex. I just know the original plan was for him to be gone Thursday, Friday, and Monday. So we had Jeremy sub in, we had Epic Mike sub in, and now we've got Vera subbing in. I think he's supposed to be back tomorrow, but of course there's a blizzard. So he's getting pounded by about 20 inches right now.
Yep.
So just if you want to know
if
Jay's alive,
power. Who knows?
If you want to know if Jay's alive, tag him. Go to his replies and stuff on social media and say, "Hey Jay, I hear you're getting pounded by 20 inches." Maybe we can get a response from him.
Reminds me of the Venom statue. They tried to promote it that way, and everyone was wrecking it.
Oh yes,
yeah. Don't you want to get this statue that's like 15 inches of Venom? And everyone's like, what?
Very specific. Yeah. KKK took my baby away. Ryan, how were the BAFTAs? Did you have good seats? Well, we are going to talk. I have so many tabs pulled up to talk about the BAFTAs and the dude with Tourette's screaming the N-word at 2 black people and the reaction from black people. So, TGV Monster for 2. Hi, Ryan and Jay. Happy Monday. It's my Friday.
Hi.
Happy Friday. Doug May for 5. Jeremy's a fig, cannot make an argument to save his life. My head was about to explode during that whole argument. Doug, welcome to my last...
quite the argument, yeah.
Welcome to the last 7 years of my fucking life. You guys want to know why I'm so angry all the time? Why my blood pressure is like always spiking? Just take a look. Go to Geeks and Gamers clips and watch that 18-minute, 20-minute argument. That's all you got to do.
You get rage baited very easily, so... Anybody could have said it, and you would have.
I don't like.
Gone off the handle.
I do. I get rage bait a little easy, but also I don't like it when it's not actually a fucking argument. I got to get my point across. Snacks for 2. I didn't know Ryan had Tourette's. Good excuse. I might, but I do a very good
spike in Tourette's cases now.
Well, I'm gonna be real. A dude with Tourette's, not able to control himself and screaming a slur, is not going to create more racism. It's not going to be harmful to anybody. It's nothing like that. What will create more racist is to see the absolute meltdown that some black people are having over someone with a disability and essentially trying to bully this dude into killing himself. That will create more racists. So we'll get into it. Where the fuck is Jay, says Star Killer Rob.
He's on vacation. Nice tropical one from what I hear.
Yeah. I'm going to go to the Northeast when they have a blizzard. Ironically, he delayed his trip because of the last blizzard you guys had.
For like 3 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
SBZ, fuck my life in the morning tax. Thanks, SBZ. Mexa Rage, hear us, my deadbeat father tax. Ryan, raise your kid. Everyone's all upset about me because this stupid bitch keeps coming in the chat. This Ryan's black girlfriend or something. She's a liar. She's a con artist. She's on welfare. She got EBT, and now she wants my money too. That's not my kid. It's not my kid.
Mm-hmm. Surely.
Andre CR G&G belated Valentine's Day edition. Thanks, Andre. Mexa Rage, I don't like it because they clearly have a favorite. So. Is that a House of the Dragon reference?
I don't know.
Wait, FML times 2? What's with Jay calling out so much? Does he realize he puts his coworkers in a tough spot? Jeremy needs to write him up.
Yes.
Dino for 199. I love that Concord is a gaming genre now.
It's so hilarious when people...
Do you still have that tweet from that we went over on FML last week?
The Concordian timeline? I can't find it again. I might still have it. It's so funny.
There's some people that are getting super triggered by it.
Yeah. I can probably find it, but It's so great that people are getting so mad when just trash is being called out. Like you'd think it wouldn't be that like big of a deal to people, but it is because they take it so personally.
Yeah. And I don't know why people take it so personally because no one played the fucking game. Like
Right.
nobody's playing these games. That's why they're failures. So how are so many people taking it so personally? That's the thing that doesn't really make any sense.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Also, I put it in the private chat for you. The good old Concordian timeline.
The Concordian timeline.
Yep.
Yeah, here it is. And apparently a lot of people got really pressed about this for some reason. Right here. Concord fans are eating good. Look at
Concord, High Guard, Marathon, Horizon Hunters Gathering. What a lovely lineup of games. Got to throw 1348X Voto in there as well. Fuck it.
You played that demo, right? You and about 80 other people.
It maxed at 122. So, yes, apparently there are 100,000 wish lists of people, and the millions of views these articles and tweets have gotten did not go so well for them. But yes, the demo is like only 20 minutes. It is terrible. It's like a pre-alpha game. I have no idea why they thought it was smart to release it in 2 weeks, but here we are.
So the game's coming out in 2 weeks,
Yes,
right?
it comes out in 2 weeks.
That's rough.
It is like a pre-alpha game. It needs at least another year of development. I think maybe what they did was they had a planned date and then they just rushed it forward because it was getting so much attention, because there's no way they thought that this was a good level of quality. There's no shot.
But the thing is, when they revealed it, what, 5 months ago was the official
And
reveal.
they said early 2026. Yeah.
And then the story reveal trailer was about a month ago.
Yeah.
And that's
That
when
was
they
around
did the whole
the time
thing
though that
path.
Yeah, that happened.
I'm sure you saw the behind the scenes stuff with Jennifer English and whoever.
We need LGBTQ characters. I feel so
Yeah.
represented. Yeah, I did, unfortunately. I wish I didn't.
What a fucking shitty situation.
Yeah, because Jennifer English, I mean, she's a good voice actress and she is going to be in a lot, but I mean, I've seen a lot of people saying that she's the Bella Ramsey of gaming, which is not who you want to be compared to.
Probably not. Ryan's black girlfriend won't like seeing Vera here. Ryan's black girlfriend is just a gold digging bitch. All right. She's not real. But speaking of black people, let's talk about what happened at the BAFTAs last night. God, I have so many fucking tabs right now.
You've got to learn to use the different tab systems on these browsers. You do.
It's fine. I mean, I think it's going to work out well here. So last night was the BAFTAs, and this is the time of the year where you have all these different award shows for the entertainment industry, and the BAFTAs, the British Academy for Film and Television Arts, whatever the hell it is. You know, they did their presentation, they did their award show last night, but nobody knows who won any of these things. No one's talking about who won, who lost. Everyone's talking about one specific thing involving a guest who was there. And this is just a great look at this freaking thumbnail for this article. Tourette syndrome activist shouts N-word at Michael B. Jordan, Delroy Lindo at the BAFTAs. And here is the post in question. It's only 11 seconds long, and this happened at the BAFTAs when two black men were up there about to present an award.
Delroy and I are delighted to be presenting the first BAFTA of the night for a vital part of movie making.
We're here to celebrate.
Now, you can kind of barely hear it in the background, but now knowing that what somebody said, you can kind of pick it out and hear it. Look, it's kind of funny, but it's a rough situation for these guys.
Nothing bad happened at the BAFTAs. I don't know. I don't think anything bad happened.
You don't think so? Look,
No.
like That's a tough situation for two black men to be up there and somebody screams the N-word in the middle of you speaking. Like,
It is,
tough to deal
but
with.
what is most interesting about the situation is the level of retardation that is going on social media, because there are so many people who are in Hollywood and even in the video game industry who demand more representation. They want inclusivity. They want people of all different sexualities and skin colors and with different disabilities to be a part of this space. But now they're saying, actually, just kidding. That's not the case. Actually, just kidding. This isn't the type of person we want in our space. If you're going to say you're welcoming to everybody, situations like this do happen, and that's just the way that it's going to be. And sure, I get that there are people that are saying, well, maybe he should apologize. It's not like he can control what is happening because of this condition that he has.
Exactly. And it's not just a random dude with Tourette showed up to the BAFTAs. That's
Right.
like the irony of this entire thing. This guy over here on the left, John Davidson, they made a movie about his life called I Swear. And the entire point, the movie's being honored at the BAFTAs that night. The entire point of the movie is about his life and how shitty his life has been because of this disability, because of this condition that he has, because he has Tourette's. And he's one of the 10% of people that do have the corporalia or whatever it's called that causes you to spout off things, the verbal tics where you scream things that are obscene or insensitive or offensive or whatever. And it has a lot to do with people being unable to control themselves, not because they want to say something, but because of, in this situation, what the most offensive thing would possibly be. Whether that's in an airport and you screaming that you have a bomb, whether that's there's a gay person and you start screaming homophobic slurs at them, or whether it's a black person, you say, like, whatever it is your brain like thinking of the worst thing you could possibly say and being unable to not say that thing.
Right.
An actual condition. And
Yes.
he was there because they made this. And it's all about this fucking intersectionality and this virtue signaling and all these marginalized communities that deserve representation. We're going to uplift these people with disabilities. We're going to uplift this different person. That's the irony of this entire thing. That is why he's here. But unfortunately, now what we have is a situation where black people are very worried that people are viewing the man with a disability as higher on the victimhood ladder than they themselves perceive themselves to be.
Yes, it's always like a dick measuring contest in terms of victimhood with these people, because all they have is this victimhood mentality. And if somebody else is being, given more attention, or people are, in their view, letting these individuals off the hook, well, suddenly it's not okay. And suddenly, we can't be inclusive to these people.
And I'm going to go through just a handful of things that I collected. I didn't even look very hard for any of this stuff. It just came across my timeline last night. I didn't go on a deep dive. This is just a handful of things I have bookmarked. The person who said the racial slur was born and raised in Scotland. Why is the N-word even in your vocabulary or one of your tics? So disgusting. I can't believe they had to stand there and take that. He better issue a public apology. Tourette's isn't an excuse to be racist. Tourette syndrome doesn't make you just call black actors winning awards the N-word. This is just overt racism. Call it what it is.
Jeez,
Jamie
cry me
Foxx.
a river and float upstream. Holy crap.
Jamie Foxx, out of all words, you could have said Tourette's makes you say that. Nah, he meant that shit. Unacceptable. Jamie Foxx chiming in. You don't get to police how black people react to racism. Also, John Davidson is racist and his Tourette's is not an excuse. Fuck him. A lot of these things have been community noted, which is great. Some people with Tourette syndrome have a characteristic called corporalia, which results in involuntary swearing and the involuntary utterance of obscene words or socially inappropriate and derogatory remarks. This does not mean someone who suffers from it is racist.
Exactly. And there are people who are saying, oh, why was this even in his vocabulary in the first place? You see words on social media all of the freaking time. Sure, you might not use them, but you see them, you internalize them, you process them, you know what they mean. It's not like he's just going through a list of offensive words and it's like, which one can I say right here to get the most attention? That's not the case. And the people melting down over this are fucking retarded. They are mad that, ooh, someone else did something that they don't like, but they always have to up their victim level. And of course, they just want to push people out of a space, even though they claim to be inclusive. It's like what we see happening in Hollywood in the gaming industry with creatives. If you are not with them, you are against them. And if you are not part of the collective mentality and you are not really part of their cult, they want you to be pushed out.
Yeah, and just to put it in perspective, this is not the only outburst he had. He screamed multiple times, interrupted people multiple times during the thing. Alan Cumming came out and gave an apology, kind of, to people that were watching. He was the host. He said, Tourette syndrome is a disability, and the tics you've heard tonight are involuntary, which means the person who has Tourette syndrome has no control over their language. We apologize if you're offended tonight. He made a number of outbursts throughout the ceremony, including saying, shut the fuck up to the BAFTA chair, and fuck you when the directors of ARCO won the best children's and family film. Right? So someone's up there receiving an award for a children's film, and he's screaming, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you to them.
Right. And also, you know, with Tourette's, when you are like extremely nervous, it's like what normal human beings do, where in your mind, you're like, I don't want to say the wrong thing. I don't want to say this term or that term. And it's like you're trying to convince yourself to not say it. And with Tourette's, because you're nervous, you end up saying it anyway, which these people, I think that they do know that, but of course they just want a reason to be mad and to get some victimhood points on social media, so they're ignoring that fact.
And the irony of the entire thing, and at one point he did kind of remove, after one of the outbursts, I think the N-word, he removed himself. He got walked out and kind of composed himself for a little bit before he came back in. The entire reason he was there was because of the movie that is being honored, that was made about him, about how shitty his life is because he can't control these things. And they're trying to raise attention for the situation and raise attention about how shitty it is to live with this fucking disability.
Absolutely.
And this is the reaction that he's getting. Yeah.
If these actors and really these people didn't take to social media and didn't publicly shame him for this situation would be a tenth of what it was. But because, of course, they want to bring awareness to it and they want to bitch on social media, we end up with a situation like this where people are now arguing over it. And yes, there are people who are saying it is ridiculous that you are getting mad over this.
Grace Randolph, always great takes. Tourette's means no filter, which means this man thought it. Despicable. Bro.
Wow. Yeah, great.
She got community noted, and she's been trying to do some damage control of her own.
Of course, it's a terrible take.
This is my favorite. Dr. Allison Wiltz. Calling black men the N-word is racism. If John had corporalia and can't control the slurs he says, he should watch from a separate area, not in the main audience where black people are exposed to slurs.
Let's segregate these people, guys. Woo!
Just to set up your argument, Dr. Allison. Just to set up your argument, I want to make sure I understand. You're a doctor, so, you know, of course, it means a lot. Pro-black womanist writer and scholar. Incredible. Your suggestion is that to make the majority of people a little more comfortable, maybe we should segregate a specific minority population that has poor impulse control into different areas and not allow them to be with us. It's interesting. I don't know if it's ever been tried before. And if it hasn't, why not? Why haven't we thought about this before? What could the potential ramifications be? Might be a better life for everybody. I don't know. Maybe, just maybe, we should think about that. That's very interesting. Jamel Hill asking for more grace for the person who shouted a racist slur instead of for Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo, who had to push through being embarrassed in front of their peers. But that's often the expectation, that black people are just supposed to be okay with being disrespected and dehumanized so other people don't feel bad. Look, there are some people that are thankfully calling this out. I saw this. People like, the Tourette's man didn't shout at anyone else during the ceremony, right? He absolutely did. The entire ceremony. At one point, he removed himself from the auditorium. Latif says the way how some black people are behaving in regard to the Tourette situation is disappointing. Both Jordan and Leno deserve apologies, but to automatically characterize it as malicious and refuse to change your stance when presented with new information is poor. The whole thing is fucking crazy. And again, it's a tough situation for both these guys, for Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo to be in 100%.
Oh,
To be
yeah,
up there
absolutely.
presenting an award and somebody else with a disability is there and they scream the N-word. That's a tough situation to be in the same way with if somebody with fucking Down syndrome, jumped on stage and shit their pants, right? Be a tough situation to be in to remain professional and press through. But we have these people who are fighting over their victimization points essentially right now. It's just truly pathetic.
Yeah, well, the left will use disabilities when it benefits them, but then they will call them bad when they don't benefit from them, or, shit on them when it will make their like social clout or social points go up. They only really feel compassion for themselves, which, I mean, we already know this is how these people work. They're narcissists, they're egotistical, they're just in general pretty terrible people. But out of all these posts, there are posts separately, but none of these people that are posting shitting on this guy are actually viewing him as a human being, because they're not. They're just boiling it down to his disability, which you'd think that they would actually be like, maybe he'll come out and apologize, or maybe he actually feels really, really bad about this, because clearly throughout the evening there were other situations where this happened. He was just nervous, and this is just what happens when you have Tourette's.
Yes, and like a situation like that will exacerbate it 100%. And the purpose he was there was for virtue signaling points, because they made this thing about someone with a disability and want to uplift marginalized communities. It all wraps into this intersectional bullshit.
Right.
So you reap what you fucking sow. The sad part is a lot of people that do have this specific form of Tourette's, which is not everybody, it's about 10% of people that have this corporalia, they commit suicide at like 300 times the normal rate of people because of how people react to them.
Yeah.
And how difficult it is with that. So congratulations. We might wake up tomorrow and this dude's fucking killed himself after everybody going nuts on social media.
Yeah, it's a bad situation all around. I mean, again, maybe he will come out and apologize. I don't know, but we know how that goes. The left does not forgive and the left does not forget. So even if he does come out and apologize, it's not going to change anything in their eyes. And some of these people are saying he should apologize, but it wouldn't change their approach to the situation.
Yeah, how many times is autism used as an excuse by these people?
I don't think he needs to apologize, obviously. I think that there's absolutely no need. He has a disability, like it is what it is.
I think it would be perfectly fine if he put out a statement that was effectively like, I understand that, people are really upset with what I said. And if there was anything
like raising awareness.
Yeah, and
absolutely.
if there was any way that I could control that, I never would have said that. But unfortunately, that's a reality of what I live with day to day. And the entire purpose of me being there in this film that was made and the BAFTAs honoring this film was to bring awareness to this.
Right. I don't think he should
apologize because he didn't. Like he didn't do anything.
It wasn't intentional. Right.
Certainly, again, I will say it again. Michael B. Jordan, Delroy Lindo up there. It's a tough ask to stay professional when something like that happens. And that's kind of embarrassing for them. It's way more embarrassing for the person who said it. I promise you.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's what he's had to deal with his entire life.
Yep. Hey, I mean, I guess free promo for his movie.
I guess. I swear is the movie, which I think is clever. I swear.
I think what is so hilarious about this situation, well, not about this situation specifically, but about the BAFTAs, Robert Amayo, who was like he was like I don't know if he was a presenter. I know he was on stage at some point, but of course he plays Elrond in Rings of Power, and he won Best Actor. These motherfuckers never win anything for Rings of Power. I thought that was so hilarious when I saw the clips of him like doing his speech. I thought that was great.
Yeah, well, he plays
Rings
that
of
guy.
Power.
Yeah, like he plays that guy.
Yeah,
that's why he's there. Whole thing's funny.
Yeah, absolutely.
See me on I said that one. Andre CR, is eating soup a sport? There are competitive eating competitions, but I wouldn't call it a sport.
Yeah.
Tobias, gotta love waking up to a migraine and still going to work. Daily helps the morning better, but I need a Ryan rant to cap it off. Well, hopefully you got one there, Tobias. Next rage, I'm glad G&G has given us redhead representation. It's certainly not me. Master Austin with a gifted membership. Thank you. Russian bot. This happened on FNT, but honestly, I thought Jeremy's argument was so dishonest and was all straw man arguments. Don't worry, Ryan. We don't swallow like Jeremy and see your clear, honest points about Filoni. Thank you, Russian bot. You know, if you like that argument, stay tuned because I'm sure in another year we'll have the same one.
Probably.
It's like that's like version 8 of that argument. So, Show Guth for 2. F my Monday morning tax. There you go. Bob Aurelius. I was waking up the baby last night laughing at Night of the Seven Kingdoms, the Lionel and Maester part, Raymond and the lady, Raymond hugging Dunk, and Arlen pausing. It was a funny episode.
It was.
Compared to how somber the whole situation really is. Death of Marco. Sup, Ryan and Ryan's better half. Thanks, Death of Marco. Star Killer Rob. Fuck Marathon. Can't wait till Sony shuts down that garbage company.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Marathon's going to make or break Bungie. I think if this does not do good, they are cooked. But I think it'll at least do okay because there are a lot of Bungie simps out there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we're gonna have a high guard situation in terms of like the player numbers and stuff. I think it'll be much bigger than that. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna play it, which is, you know,
we
very
also have to
indicative.
consider that they put their entire budget towards it, and then they had to do months and months of redesigns and
because of the stolen artwork
and changing like map designs and level designs and stuff. So we don't know how many more tens of millions of dollars actually went into basically what is the equivalent in Hollywood of reshoots.
Yeah. And just bad PR.
Yeah.
Andre Sarah, now that Jade died, can we keep Vera?
Well, I don't know. If he died in the blizzard, I'm next. So I might be dead too.
Bert, Tourette's Ryan, KKK, fresh from the UK BAFTA Awards. I have the opposite of Tourette's. There are so many things I want to say, but don't. So I have the opposite of Tourette's. Damaj and I, sup Ryan, work got shut down here up north with this blizzard, doing my 25 receipts. Fucking taxes. Speaking of blizzard, sup Vera, Winter Soldier, reporting in.
Yeah, taxes suck. It's life
Shout out to Maj and I. Bungles Twanger, why the recent spike in Overwatch play? They just relaunched.
Yeah, they did a big update and they dropped the 2, so now it's just Overwatch again.
Udite for 5. I hope the guy with Tourette's is faking it like Cartman did in South Park. Didn't Cartman, wasn't he faking Tourette's and then he actually developed it? Wasn't that storyline?
I think so, yeah.
Ministry of Wrong Thing. So Ryan has had Tourette's this whole time. So he wasn't ever racist. You fraud. I trusted you. Josh Skywalker. Ever watched the Tourette's guy back in the day? Good times. I don't know.
No.
Mexa Rage. Ryan's black girlfriend is not my lover. She's just a fig who claims that I am the one, but the kid is not my son. Base Ryan making a mountain out of a molehill. Thanks. Tesla Trader, hail the 199 and shout out who gifted me a membership. Legend. For fuck's sake, Jay. I remember my first part-time job as well. Slacker. Hi, Vera.
Hi.
Mexa Rage, these people are going back 30s and 40s. I don't know. What is this shit? Ryan's Asian girlfriend. Hello, boyfriend Ryan. Me no have job no more after incident. Please help. And I love you wrong time. These people are all liars. For the record, this is not a real person. There's a billion people in the world that look exactly like this person. She's not real.
Uh-huh.
Captain Durag, which looks like Kata. This looks like a job for... Wait, what's the job? Thank you, Captain Durag. Madney for 5. Why is that word even in his vocabulary? Meanwhile, every rap song for the past 3 decades.
Yeah, it's a pretty common word. It's not like it's some word you hear once in your life and that's it. It's not the case.
Yeah, and obviously, again, because it's like, what's the worst thing I could say in this situation?
Right.
That would
And
be
you're
the
like
worst
so
thing you could say in this
nervous and you're
situation.
trying not to think about it and then you do. But yeah, they're gonna blame him for it anyway.
Red Mage. Lefties who use autism as an excuse for horrible behavior all the time, so they need to shut the fuck up.
Josh Sobel taking a X saying, I have autism. Don't be mean to me because Highguard failed.
Yeah, like, all the time they use autism as an excuse.
Oh, yeah.
But this isn't. This is quite literally a situation where a disability makes something that you are not responsible for that thing that you just did. You know?
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is. 100 battles. Is Jay out tomorrow? If Jay's out tomorrow, can Tourette's dude co-host G&G Daily? Do Ryan's Yard guys know where we can get Cerveza Cristal? Is Vera going to MegaCon? It's a lot of questions.
That is a lot of questions. I am not going to MegaCon. No.
There you go. Cerveza Cristal, maybe. I can ask him. Spikefish Network for 5. If he was black and said a slur at 2 Asians, they wouldn't care. Maybe it's in his vocab because they use it all the time everywhere. IDOTS. Harry Brownhole. What was the children's film about? Could be based. I got no idea.
Yeah, I have no clue.
Lawrence Knight for $25. I'm black. I don't care what that guy said. People with Tourette say all kinds of things. Not a big deal. Sorry, maybe it's my military training. I tend to not feel threatened unless ammunition is headed my way.
But words are weapons. Words hurt more than bullets.
I think that everyone's become too sensitive to words, like 100%. I think that people who threaten, like, if you say that word to me in the street, I'm going to kill you or knock you out or whatever. I think that the whole thing is ridiculous. We would be having a little bit different conversation if some dude randomly set up and screamed it, who didn't have a disability or whatever. Right?
It'd be different.
Be a little different. This is not the situation.
Right.
It's a dude with Tourette's. Maybe a lot of people will watch the movie now.
Maybe. Good marketing potentially. All press is good press. Might be the mentality.
Vault 95 Gaming. Dr. Beardo said, if you have a disability, grow up. Yes, I believe famously Beardo said on this channel, Tourette's isn't a real thing. So. Raptor Kratos for 5. I would love it if Sweet Anita called me that. Maybe she will. WG for 10. So to be clear, that Tourette's guy wasn't invited to the BAFTA after party. Maybe he was. I don't know.
I haven't heard anything about it.
Maybe he was at the after party. Just N-words galore. Ryan has temporary Corporal Alia whenever he sees Dave Filoni, which is why he's not allowed at Star Wars Celebration, which started in the year 199 AD. Maybe. Snacks for 2. Can you get Tourette's from a COD lobby?
Maybe.
Bungles Twinger, where they definitely raised awareness.
They did.
They did. Nicodemus Gore for $2. Appropriate appearance. Chris Coran for 2. Why are you stuck with Soup Girl today, Ryan? Because Jay abandoned me and died.
It's true. I was the Plan Z, but I'm here.
Right. Everybody eventually leaves me. So 0 for 2. Morning Red, Morning Vera. Second best duo on Daily. Don't call me that. Isn't this marathon also a remake of the original?
It is more like a reboot. It is not much of the same. That's for sure. Lots of changes. Slop, modern, extraction, shooter, trash. So, not the same. But same name. Marketing. They know that it will sell a few copies just because it's called Marathon.
Tiger King Rex Carter. Anyone consult Beardo, the Tourette's expert? I don't know if he's weighed in yet, ironically enough. B. Barrett for 2. Ryan and Jeremy fighting means the end of FNT. Maybe. B. Barrett for another $2. Why can't these people be upset about Tourette's? Just be the bigger person. I don't know. Sele for 199. Ryan, why no do UFC live streams during main cards? Honestly, I don't have time to live stream react to everything in the world.
You need to make more time, Ryan.
Saturdays specifically, typically I don't do too much streaming or anything normally in normal scenarios, but every once in a while we will. For that one in the White House, probably would be one that we do a big reaction to. Mexa Rage for 5. I woke up to the Jeremy and Ryan argument, so I was confused. Then I started focusing, and I was waiting for Jeremy to talk about the Dow Jesus man. To talk about the Dow Jesus man. Oh, okay. I get what you're saying now. To talk about how well the Dow is doing instead of talking about what
the
we
way you read that was not correct at first.
Well, thank you to Mexa Rage. I could have used maybe a comma or a period or a semicolon, and then he says, Ryan is swimming while others are drowning. You dog. Thank you. Tobias for 10. Hey, Ryan, which part of this do you think is worse? Me being a furry, autistic, or are both of them combined even worse? Can I use them as excuses to be an asshole to people now? Got 35 years to use. You being a furry is more inherently degenerate than you being autistic, but I think the two go hand in hand quite often.
It is true. There's a pattern there.
Like, how many furries are not autistic? I think the Venn diagram of furries and autistic people is a fucking circle. So I don't know, Tobias. I'm not sure. As someone with Tourette's, I thank God it's not the swear word kind. Yes. Like, what we think of when we think of Tourette's is that guy, is somebody screaming and shouting and that stuff. Mm-hmm. That's about 10% of people with Tourette's. Oftentimes it's just body motions or tics or like severe OCD in terms of things needing to touch something. That, like, those are things that are most commonly associated with Tourette's as opposed to the screaming fuck and N-word and all this shit. Harry Brownhole. They should have used the other N-word, neurodivergent. There you go. Old Curdy Bastard. Let me get this right. Gavin Newsom literally said black people can't read, but they're mad at a guy with Tourette's. I did hear about Gavin Newsom's clip. I'm just like you, man. That's a Joe Biden moment.
It really is. It's funny as hell.
Tiggs for $5. Ryan, thanks again for meeting up last night. I had a great time. Y'all are spreading such fucking lies about me. It's pissing me off.
Yeah, it's only gonna keep getting worse for you.
Yeah. Ninroku for $1 on Rumble or on Locals. Blacktivist, you're Scottish. Why would you know the N-word? Me, a man of culture. And then he shares this. He shares this over on Locals. The demo man. That's why he knows. Oh, wait, there it is. You can't see it. I could only see it. There it is. That's why you know.
Too fucking funny.
But from a complete and total bullshit entertainment story, let's take a moment to actually talk about something that a lot of people, not everybody, but a lot of people have been enjoying, and that has been A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, finally, I say finally, it's only been 6 weeks. We only got 6 episodes, but the season finale was last night. And going into this show, as somebody who has read The Hedge Knight and read the Dunk and Egg books, I was excited. I think you were very excited.
Yes,
and people that are fans of that book were very excited. For a lot of other people, I didn't know exactly what the reaction to this series would be. I thought it could be done really, really well if they stuck very close to the books, and that even people who aren't big Game of Thrones fans or really care about Game of Thrones or all that knowledgeable, even they could probably walk into this and enjoy it, because at its heart, it's just a story about a good dude trying to do the right thing in a world where it's not always the easiest thing to do. And overall, a couple additions to the stuff that we have from the books. Not too many straight up changes from the source material, but some additions. A handful of changes that most of them I'm cool with. A couple of them I think could be problems coming down later in the future. Overall, now that it's all said and done, what are your thoughts on the series as a whole, Vera?
I agree. There are a few changes and a few dialogue lines that were cut that do make me a little bit sad, specifically ones from episode 4 and then episode 6, with characters like Dunk and the small folk, and then some dialogue lines from Makar. But I do think that overall it was a really good adaptation. Very rarely do we get ones that are actually this close to the source material. Now, I know you've said it many times, it was relatively easy for them to adapt this because we're not talking about an 800-page novel and characters they have to cut. In my heart, I will always be so sad and depressed that Lady Stoneheart never made it into Game of Thrones. There's no characters like that you can't add into something like this. But I do think that overall it was peak entertainment. The visual sets and costumes were great. I loved the acting performances from Dunk, Egg, Baylor, and Makar. I thought they were so amazing. And there were some additions that were good. I think a lot of the flashbacks were just okay, but there was one specific flashback in the final episode that truly tied it all together with Arlen, and I am very excited for season 2. I think for me, season 2 is going to be a little rough because that was not my favorite novella by any means. I thought it was good. I wouldn't say that I loved it. I thought 1 and 3 were way better, but I'm curious to see what they do.
I'm not gonna lie. I just actually re-listened to Sworn Sword Saturday for the first time in quite some time, and I loved it so much.
I don't know. I just it didn't click with me the way that 1 and 3 did, but I also think that ultimately it's just because the stakes were so much higher in 1 and 3 compared to 2. 2 is a very isolated story compared to the others, which for me is probably why I didn't like it as much. But I still think that it's still good. I'm still excited to see what they do, and I will still most likely enjoy it if it is anything like season 1.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that I was not necessarily expecting from this show was how funny it is.
Yes, I think they balance the humor very well with the overall darker tone. I've seen some people on social media complain that oh, they shouldn't have added in all of the potty humor and then it would have been so much better. I thought it was a very good Game of Thrones addition.
Yeah, I think it fits within the world, but I was not expecting quite so much humor, and most of the time, I think 85% of the time, I think it serves really well and it's fun to watch. And I think they balance it right. There are a handful of times where I feel like the things they might be using for humor, I think could potentially undercut something.
Yeah.
And we're not going to talk about spoilers for the finale or anything because it just came out. But one of those moments is essentially right at the very end of the finale. And in the moment for the show itself, it is fucking funny. I actually think the moment is hilarious. However, what that does, and it is a change from the source material in the way that the event went down. The events still occur the way, the things still happen, but it's a slight change. And as much as I have really enjoyed even the small amount of time we've spent with the characters, and I think so many of them truly are, whether it's the exact dialogue from the page or whether it's just faithfulness to what those characters are supposed to represent that's being played out, I think it's done really well for the most part. There's just one or two things here or there which makes me say, I wonder what that could potentially do down the road, and you might have to deal with that thing that you did down the road.
Yeah, I hope that it is resolved early in the first in the first episode of the second season. I do also think that because the stories are so isolated, and that's what makes it really good, there's only a focus on Dunk's perspective. I do think that because no other characters return in the future. They wanted to leave some sort of path open to bring back some of the characters. Now, if they will do that or how they will do that, who knows? But there are things that they do need to address going forward because they sacrificed more, I don't know, core storytelling elements that are extremely important down the road and items that are extremely important down the road for like these comedic moments.
Yeah, but overall, for a show with a relatively small budget, it's performing incredibly well when it comes to the ratings. And at its heart, it's about these two characters. It's about Dunk and Egg, and the castings are perfect. I think their portrayals of the characters are perfect. And these are not huge, grand, sweeping set pieces and, dealing with all of this different shit. It's a character story focused primarily on Dunk and secondarily on Egg. And that's the way it was filmed. That's the way it was presented to us. It's worked really well for those novellas throughout the last, 30 years, even though there's only been 3 of them that have been released.
16 years since then.
But people have been very attached to these characters, and understandably so, because they're very well-written characters. Yeah. And if it is getting back to a little bit of a simplistic storytelling of just, hey, a good dude trying to do the right thing. And it's as simple as that. And overall, I really have enjoyed the series and highly recommend anybody, regardless of whether you're interested in Game of Thrones or not, to give it a shot.
Yes, absolutely. I think that if you're a fan of just really good, I almost want to say like wholesome storytelling, because this definitely is the most wholesome of the Game of Thrones or Song of Ice and Fire stories. You'll like it if you're a fan of like period pieces. You'll like it. And if you're a fan of Game of Thrones, you'll like it. It's very simple in terms of the lore that is introduced, at least in the first season. And I think that it makes it such an easy entry point for people.
Yeah. And it's tough to describe it as wholesome because it is still the Game of Thrones universe.
It is,
it's still
but
R-rated.
The 2 core characters are wholesome, which is why I think you can almost describe it that way. So yeah. And also I see people asking in chat, you do not need to watch Game of Thrones or House of the Dragon before this. It's a completely isolated story. And while there is some lore, like the house names, for example, and some character references, you don't need to watch the others.
Yeah. You could watch this without ever having watched Game of Thrones or House of the Dragon. And will you maybe get the full context of some of the deeper meanings of things? Probably not, but the story itself, you can absolutely sit down and enjoy it and watch it.
Yes, but I really loved it. I'm glad it turned out so well. I'm glad that they did stick very closely to the novella, and in my opinion, I am way more hyped for a season 2 of this than I am the continuation of House of the Dragon.
Yeah, mostly because these are so easy. I think because it's so much easier for these to tell a story that we know is good. Whereas House of the Dragon is a completely different type of adaptation, and telling a completely different type of story, which is very convoluted. And the problem is House of the Dragon is very much a story that's more like what people think of when they think of George R.R. Martin and Game of Thrones, which is there are no good guys. Everybody's a bad person, blah, blah, blah.
Right. And there's these like insane set pieces and battles, and you've got fucking 82 main characters, and half of them have to die for the story to continue.
You've got 14 dragons running around. You've got, but at its core, it's like everybody is kind of in the wrong.
Right. Everybody is in like the gray area. It's just, will these characters be pushed into like the red zone and be pushed into, like degeneracy and being complete evil bastards?
Right. Yeah. Yes. Which is why when it's Dunk and Egg and it is truly like a good dude, a moral dude, a dude who does the right thing, that's something that's very easy to latch onto and root for.
Yeah.
Mako Gray. I'm furry, diabetic, and have a hearing loss. Vera, how is Akira manga? Watch
Akira?
The movie.
Akira's great. I have it behind me.
Did he misspell it?
Yeah, it's great. Awesome. Fantastic. Can't recommend it enough.
It's good, Mako. I don't know if you heard that. I don't know if you heard that because your disability,
Whoa, wait a minute. I thought I hated everything and I was a negative toxic fuck. Just kidding. I hate it. It's terrible. 0 out of 10. I have to stick with the brand image. I hate everything.
Mexa Rage for 2, 3, Ryan. 3 now. How do you sleep, man? You go. These people are lying, Mexa Rage. Mexa Rage for another 2. I did not think it was going to be as great as it was.
Yeah. I was worried, but like, we're not talking about an 800-page novel that they're adapting with like $9 million per episode and 6 episodes that are 30 minutes long. Like, it was a much smaller scale and scope.
Yeah. I think it's been good. And I think a lot of people have joined in after hearing people talking about it. And I am not like some of the people out there who are claiming that this is better than Game of Thrones at its peak. I'm not one of those people. I think that's a little bit of recency bias, but I think it's really good. I think it's
I don't think it's as good as like Game of Thrones season 1 to 4 by any means. Very different products at the end of the day. But recency bias is definitely a thing, and we do remember season 8 of Game of Thrones and sort of the responses from the people that worked on it. George R. R. Martin has still not put out the books that he's promised, and in a time where a lot of entertainment is so bad and so low quality, it is getting maybe a little bit more praise than it would have gotten 10 years ago or 15 years ago, when like the core of Game of Thrones, the height of Game of Thrones was happening, but it is still fantastic.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I can agree. It's really, really good. 0 for 5. Y'all think shows like Knights and Chernobyl would be the industry norm going forward? 6 to 8 episodes per season.
I hate 6-episode seasons. I think that it can work.
Depends what it is.
Like, we used to get 16 episodes a season and 20 episodes a season. Now we're like lucky if we get 6. So kind of sucks, but
I do think, and that's just a thing that has been happening over the past decade, people are shooting for more of these premiere type of shows that only have, 10, 12 episodes. And instead of it being, what are the shows like Law and Order where you kind of know how everything's going to go for each episode? The name's escaping me right now. Procedural show, as opposed to you having these procedural shows where you kind of know what every episode's going to be about. You're going to have maybe some interpersonal drama between some of the characters, but whether it's a crime show or a law show or whatever, and it's going to be like, okay, here's the case, here's the problem, work through it. Halfway through, there's going to be kind of a twist. You get some resolution at the end, and there's about 5 to 10 minutes of interpersonal stuff with the characters, and that's your 42-minute show with commercials added in. It's your hour-long show.
Right.
And you do 23 episodes of that a season. I think in the past decade, people have been chasing some of what HBO made so good and did so well. And it's not just HBO, but certainly others. These more premier prestige type shows that are 10-hour-long episodes in which the entire thing is telling one big story. And they get so much praise and so much hype. And I think everyone's been chasing more of those shows, and we've gotten fewer of the procedural type of shows, which still do exist and still are out there.
Yeah.
But in the case of Dunk and Egg, I think that 6 episode works for this show because you're adapting something that is 100 pages long and is about a 3-hour read.
Right.
So I think if you're going to do a 3-hour or 2.5-hour movie, you could do it that way. But if you're making it into a television show and to do 6 episodes, break it down the way they did, keep building your audience over week after week, I think the 6 episodes is perfect. I wouldn't have wanted 10, 15, 20 episodes because it would have meant the whole thing would have been made up.
It would have been completely different, right? You're getting farther away from the material.
Yes, exactly. Stormbreaker, is this Fuck My Life? No. Fuck My Life will be tonight on my channel at 9 p.m. Eastern. So about 9 hours from now. Fuck My Life. Nicodemus Gore for 2. I heard I got a shout out at the BAFTAs. You did. Ryan's Downs girlfriend for $5. Hi, Ryan. You nice. Thank you. Mexa Rage for 2. Hope they don't listen to the Shiny Light Watchers. Yeah. Maybe. But Vera, with that being said, Tuesday night's main event is Fuck My Life is tonight. That's 2 hours long. This show only an hour. Why don't you tell people about you and where they can find you?
You can find me on YouTube and X Veridark Dark Titan Media. I live stream video games Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, Sundays, 7 p.m. Eastern. Fuck My Life on Monday nights. Tonight it is on Ryan's channel. Wednesday evenings I do the Vera and Virtue show, and then I put up 2 to 3 videos a day.
There you go. So go check her out. I'm sure mods will drop a link. In terms of anything else, yes, we have Fuck My Life tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern on my channel. Next week, it'll be on Vera's channel. Yeah. And then I don't know who's going to be on daily tomorrow. I'm going to be real. I have no idea who's going to be on daily. Maybe Jay will be back. Maybe he's dead. Maybe he's alive. I don't fucking know. But you'll have to tune in tomorrow if you want to find out. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Thanks to Vera for coming and joining me and co-hosting the show. And we will talk to you later. Bye, everybody.